Okay, we have made it to our next map, and Lugus has 3 episodes in this one, in addition to the interview question. And one of those episodes we haven't seen before because it involves Jed putting on her Ayer disguise. And this is also before the whole kiss thing happened, so I didn't realize that we interacted with Lugus in that outfit before the kiss even happened. So I'm very curious indeed how that's going to play out. But first, let's do our interview. What's your favorite times and hobbies? Okay, well, I was all excited, but
none. If I had to say, it would be my duty for the sake of my clan. There is meaning in using time for that.
You're not giving me a lot to work with here, sir. Okay. What else we got? Black Shadow, let's do that one.
Here he comes. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Ah! I got you!
You're not getting away. No more excuses out of you.
Why are you here? No, this is just a coincidence.
I heard the man's pitiful cries in the cold winter air. Yikes, I sure don't want to be in his shoes now. It was a job through a referral from a regular client. Her request was to find proof of infidelity from her lover. Now that I had helped her with that, it was a fact that her lover was cheating on her.
It's not what it seems. I can explain.
No excuses. I'll hear you out at home, so come along now. Thank you so much, Mr. Handyman. Now I can give him a piece of my mind.
Yes. I'm happy for her. Wait, that's not right. Good luck, I guess.
Yes, I'll give you your pay tomorrow as promised, so please come and get it then. Come on, let's go.
A grown man was being dragged away. He was completely at fault, but I did feel sorry for him, thinking of the upcoming interrogation. Phew. I thought I'd be used to doing private detective work to investigate infidelity. If I have to do all this, I'd like to see relationships straight out of love stories. I straightened my outfit as I thought such. Like a princess and a prince meeting by accident and falling in love at first sight. I knew it sounded cliché, but I couldn't say it wasn't appealing. I shouldn't. I shook my head to rid my head of those embarrassing thoughts. For now. You shouldn't make the other person mad or sad, and it was never good to lie to them. Although I had no experience with love, that was the type of thing I thought about. To never lie. It was different from lying about cheating, but I did lie. Even to the people closest to me. I noticed there was a haze in the air. I looked up to see the sun about to set. I'd better go back soon. It was quite a distance from the center of town to the tower. There were no lights in the forest, and I could get lost even on my usual path. I decided to jog back home as quickly as I could. The fog is really thick today. It wasn't unusual for the city to be covered like this during the night, but it felt like it came earlier than usual. With how it was now, I needed to be wary, making sure I took care each step of the way. Maybe I should borrow a light from somewhere to go home with. I started to walk cautiously when... I noticed someone's presence thanks to a shift in the thickness of the fog. I could barely hear the footsteps, but the way the air moved was completely different. Am I being chased after? I sensed someone's gaze. I started to pick up my pace, but the presence stuck close to me. That someone was following me without a doubt. What to do now? The town was nearly deserted, and I had already arrived at the outskirts. Even if I tried to find an open store or a well-lit place, I doubted I could find one now. I should have taken a different path, but it was too late for that. The footsteps were getting closer. As I grew more nervous, a name crossed my mind. The Black Shadow? the rumored serial killer. If he were a robber, I could deal with that. But if his goal was murder, would I be able to deal with someone who's killed so many without so much as a single trace? The footsteps grow even louder. Damn it! I drew my sword and spun around to attack preemptively, and then the footsteps suddenly stopped.
Chad?
Huh? I blinked in surprise. The fog suddenly became lighter and I saw Levi's face. Levi?
Come on now. Why did you draw your sword?
What do you mean by that? I sensed someone coming from behind, so I thought it was the Black Shadow.
Black Shadow? What's that?
You don't know. There's a string of murders going on in the town right now. The culprit isn't caught yet.
Oh? That sounds dangerous.
I thought you could be a robber too, but if you were the killer... Anyway, I'm so glad it was you, Levi.
Sorry about that. I couldn't see far ahead because of the fog either.
It's especially bad today.
So, what's with you? On your way back from work? You really should have gone home earlier.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'll be more careful next time.
What would you do without me? Want me to walk you back? I know the guys who live in that house over there, so I can borrow a light. It's my job to look after my baby brother, you know.
I felt genuinely thankful. I was starting to get uneasy, being in this thick fog all alone. Except... Levi didn't know I lived at the tower. And if he found out I lived with that suspicious man, he would tell me to go back to the manor with him. I saw a fire from behind my eye. No, I'm alright. Francisca will be worried about you, so you should go home soon.
I'm a bit too old for her to be worried about me.
I heard parents always care about their children, no matter how old they get.
I guess I'll heed that warning then. You should learn to depend on others. You always try to deal with everything alone.
Really? I just try to do what I can. I knew full well that I couldn't do what Levi suggested. If I didn't have this secret, I wouldn't have such a guilty conscience. If I really was a boy, I would be able to continue my relationship with Levon and Levi.
That's exactly what I mean. You always try to deal with everything alone. You can depend on me a little more. You know, if you asked, I'd do anything for you.
Even if I ask you to do my jobs for me on your days off?
Blah. Give me a break.
Levi laughed with me. I can't tell him my secret. I do rely on you. Thanks, Levi.
Yeah.
We were back to our usual selves. I noticed the fog around us getting lighter. Seems like it's better now. That's great.
Yeah, you probably won't get lost now.
Not with so little fog. I took a step into the foggy area, but Levi held out his arm in front of me. I thought he had something else to say, but I was wrong. He was looking intently into the fog. I stared into the white fog and saw a silhouette. Lugus? He didn't notice us. Why was he standing in the fog all alone?
What the hell is he doing?
We tensed and Levi put his hand on his sword. Levi! I tried to keep my voice low, but apparently Lugus heard me. He turned to us in a quick motion, and with a wrinkle between his brow walked toward us.
What the hell are you doing here?
What about you? Why are you out here at this hour?
So what if I am? You trying to say I'm the Black Shadow?
Levi! They were both openly hostile. I didn't expect him to say the name of the serial killer.
So you know of that rumor, then? I suppose dogs are good at picking up scents.
And why are you out here at this hour? You're the son of the Hawk Lord, aren't you? Maybe you shouldn't be wandering around here alone.
Those two really didn't get along. Though Lugus didn't get along with the Wolf Clan in general, Levi tried to pick apart every single thing he said, too. He's not looking to fight, but they just aren't compatible. Unexpectedly, Lugus closed his mouth and walked off in another direction.
Hey!
He apparently had no intention to talk and quietly disappeared into the fog.
What was that?
Beats me. Maybe he was just worried about us.
He didn't sound worried at all.
Well, maybe that's just how Lugus greets people.
You really are an optimist, aren't you? Either way, you'd better go home while the fog's lighter.
That's right. I'll hurry back.
Yeah, don't get caught by any more weirdos.
Weirdos?
Pretty weird to be standing out here alone and then leaving without saying a word, if you ask me.
That's true. I wonder what he was really doing here.
Well then, take care.
Yeah, you too, Levi. I felt the cold air cling to my cheeks as I moved quietly along. The fog drifting upon the snow dampened my clothes, drawing heat away from my body. It seemed as if the fog thickened again. Soon it engulfed me once more. If somebody were to approach me right now, I wouldn't know who it was. I continued to walk through the fog and darkness with only my gut instincts guiding me. Okay, just a little bit with Lugus there. The next one... Is it here? Yes. Okay. We have seen this before, but I don't remember what this was about.
Welcome! Step right up!
I arrived at the town square and heard the bustling of the crowd. There were people preparing for the masquerade and stalls selling to them. A lot of townsfolk had gathered. There's still time until my next job. I decided to look around the shops in the square. Busy and bustling as always. I was mindful of saving money, so I wouldn't be buying anything, but looking around was fun in itself. They have so many different colors here, and so many types. I stopped by a store selling cloth made with yarn of all kinds of colors. I rarely bought things like this, but I imagined using that cloth to decorate my room. Considering how much money I had, that dream would never become a reality, but imagining it was free. I was looking through the shops when I felt something brush by my chest.
Yay! I win!
Not fair! You had a head start!
Were those kids racing? It's a bit dangerous doing that here. I wondered if I should scold them for it, but then my eyes met with a girl with pouting cheeks.
Mister, don't you think he cheated too?
Huh? I wasn't cheating. Don't blame me when you're just slow.
What?
Hey, there's no need to say it like that. And don't run here, it's dangerous.
But...
No buts. You're friends, aren't you? Close enough friends to be racing with each other?
Well...
Don't say things that'll hurt your friend's feelings.
See? Now apologize!
You too. Don't say things like that. Now, what's a better way to say it?
Don't say things like that.
Fine, I won't say it anymore.
Good job, both of you. After I patted their heads, I noticed that our surroundings were eerily quiet. It seemed that the children noticed it too and started looking around. What's going on? There were some people who huddled close in whispers. I tried to follow their line of sight. And there I saw the Hawks. The Hawk Lord, Olgar, Lugus, and a servant of theirs. I came at the wrong time, apparently. They were probably here to collect taxes, patrol the square, or maybe some other purpose. I didn't know the specifics, but either way, given the atmosphere, they weren't here simply to have a good time.
It's the Lord of the Hawks.
The girl grabbed my sleeve and hid from Olgar behind me.
Mama said that you should never talk loudly in front of the Hawk Lord.
I see. Even small children are afraid of him. I perked my ears to try to hear their conversation. Thanks to how quiet the crowd was, it wasn't too difficult.
Haku, have you completed the planning proposal for this sector?
I'm sorry, it is not ready yet.
Hurry up. There's no time to waste.
Understood.
They were just having a conversation about administrative matters, but every time Olgar spoke, everyone stopped what they were doing. Everyone was afraid that they would offend him if they spoke. They were all afraid of being the next person he would call to. It was easy to see that they were all frozen in their tracks, twitching in fear. But the next one that was called out to was Lugus.
Lugus. Yes. Have there been any more delays since that incident?
I knew exactly what they were talking about. It was about the tax collection scuffle from the other day. I relived the cold, tense atmosphere in my mind. Olgar looked briefly at me before turning his sharp gaze to Lugus.
There are no further issues.
Lugus answered with an expression devoid of emotion.
Then proceed with the matter of the masquerade. Understood? Yes, Father.
The conversation ended there. Olgar scanned the crowd and then left. The man called Haku followed him, while Lugus remained. The two were likely returning to their manor. Phew. I heaved a sigh of fatigue and relief. Whenever I saw Olgar around, it always felt like the air became thinner. I did interact with tough people in my line of work, but he was on a completely different level. What's the matter? You can talk now.
But Lugus is still...
Huh? The atmosphere had lightened a little around the town square, but there was still some lingering tension.
Who is the responsible party of this shop? Where is the planning proposal?
It's not done yet.
Why? The deadline has already passed. There has not been a report of any delays. We are having our own issues. The previous representative is bedridden, and we still have to come to an agreement with other sectors. You had enough time to move forward with it.
I said I couldn't! Jeez. All you ever do is complain and act all high and mighty.
You keep taking our money with your taxes, so we're desperate in making a living here. We can't do everything you're asking.
Yeah, you just decided everything on your own and forced it on us.
Say that one more time.
Lugus's lowered voice seemed to freeze everyone around him.
You can't. Then let me phrase it as a question. Who owns this town?
Damn.
Who moves this town? Don't tell me you don't know. If you had a problem, you had ample opportunity to report it. I didn't tell you to not have problems. I told you to report it. As long as you live in this town, that is your duty. You say that now, but you just blame us anyway, like you're doing now. Don't make assumptions. Father desires to follow proper procedures. These plans were necessary for the masquerade. You are not the one to decide that. It is Father who makes the decisions.
He spoke nonchalantly, but Lugus had an overbearing aura about him. The wolves were at a loss for words. What Lugus said seemed to be logical.
Complete it as soon as possible, and report to me within the day. Understood?
Lugus turned around to leave before they had a chance to respond. He headed south to leave the square, and our eyes met along the way. He saw that I was an onlooker. I quickly turned away, but it was too late. I thought he would say something, but he vanished without a word. I was just browsing the shop, so there was no reason for him to say anything to me. Isn't there? Isn't there, though? But despite that, I felt tense like the other townspeople did. After Olgar and Lugus left, the square returned to its normal bustling. The atmosphere is so different when the hawks are around. Do the people here realize that? Although, the way they can command respect everywhere might not be a bad thing. While I was starting to trail off in thought, the two children called out to me.
What were the shopkeepers in Lugus fighting about?
Fighting? That didn't look like a fight to me.
But they looked mad. Who should apologize to who?
That's difficult to say. When you grow up, there are things that aren't always as clear-cut.
What do you mean by clear cut? Are they fighting because they're grown-ups? They're fighting even though they're grown-ups?
There are times when grown-ups have a harder time getting along. It's really strange.
Oh.
I didn't know what else I could say. There are things children can do much more easily. Human relationships were difficult. There was constant opposition between the wolves and the hawks. To the kids, all that was meaningless. I wonder when it all changed.
Whatever. Let's play shop.
Sure.
We could learn a lot from the kids on how to change gears so quickly. It's true. We could. All right. New episode time. I'm so excited. Stranger. Danger? It's so quiet today. I passed by the tavern to look inside and saw lots of empty seats. There weren't any hooligans around, so maybe I could relax in a free seat today. That would be nice. Wearing clothes I'm not used to is so suffocating. I had to worry about how I talked and walked. I needed this little break. Then again, my information gathering isn't making any progress. I could think about it later. For now, I gave the employee my order and stretched my legs. Miss? Who could be talking to me?
Hi, miss.
Gah! I was acting the way I always did, so I gave out a strange cry. What are you doing here? I was not expecting you. You have to wait one more turn. Gosh diddly darn it all, Hugh. Ugh. Fine, what do you want?
Oh my, did I surprise you?
No. He wore a gentle smile as he sat in the seat next to me without hesitation. I quickly put my legs back together and the man laughed again.
Were you having a little rest? Don't mind me. Just think of me as some decorative ornament.
Oh really?
Yes, really.
Uh-huh. Despite saying that, he seemed to glance over at me quite often. Have I met him before? He does appear familiar.
Yes?
I can't remember. I may have passed him on the street somewhere. I smiled at him for now, and he gave me another smile in response. Ash. I am so confused. Who are you? What are you? Why are you going by Ash? There's Old Man, there's Haku, there's Hugh, which I thought was your real name, and now you're going by Ash. I mean, Hugh, I can't even assume Hugh is your real name either. Ash. Does it... Okay, we're having this. I hope this gets, like, addressed later now in the main story, where she's like, wait, you told me your name was Ash, though? And now you're saying it's Hugh? What does this mean? So confusing, boy.
That's right. We haven't been formally introduced. My name is Ash. Pleased to meet you.
A pleasure. Oh, good. So we haven't met before. Or have we? Feeling relieved, I noticed him looking at my face. Although it didn't feel uncomfortable, I didn't know what to do about it. I really should say my name too, but considering what I'm wearing... is there something you want from me?
Yes, there's something I'd like to ask you. If you don't mind me asking, I'd like to talk to you about picture books.
Okay. Picture books?
I'm looking for a certain picture book. I'm not from this town, so I'm lacking in knowledge of it. I was hoping you could tell me of a place where I can find lots of them.
A place with picture books. I couldn't think of anything right away. I sometimes saw old books being sold, but I rarely saw any of them being picture books. I was sure some big manors would have a few, and then it hit me. The church may have some.
The church?
It has shelves lined with books, and I think there are picture books among them. They're accessible to everyone, townsperson or not.
I see. Thank you for the information. By the way, have you seen that any of them have a story about butterflies?
I have, but not in this town. Butterflies?
The story usually goes with 2 butterflies.
I don't actually read them, so I wouldn't know.
Have you ever heard of a picture book with that kind of story?
No.
I see. It must have scattered somewhere else then.
I was wondering what he meant, but my order of warm soup arrived. Ash didn't appear to have ordered anything, so I ate by myself. Is that all he wanted to ask? He's an odd person. Maybe he saw me glancing over at him. His wandering gaze turned back to me.
I've traveled the world so that I can be a writer. North, south, east, and west. I've traveled to all parts of the world to see things.
Oh, really?
You don't believe me? Do I not appear that way?
No, that's not it. I just thought that it was rare for someone to travel around because they wanted to be a writer.
Well now, why don't you listen for a bit? The stories of my travels are mighty interesting. With each and every world my eyes have seen, there has been a story to be told. Each and every person I've met has had their own story.
The way he spoke did make me feel like I was reading a book. It was as if he was spinning a story.
There are stories of a snowy town, as well as ones of a hot and dry nation. There are stories of a foggy forest, and neighborhoods with never-ending rain. They all sound interesting.
Do you write in a travel log?
The only thing I write about is the people I meet on my travels. All I keep are notes of that. It's not so grandiose to be called a travel log.
I wouldn't be able to write something like that.
You think so? Even if you're not putting it onto paper, you are creating quite a story of your own.
I didn't know why, but my heart jumped at his smile. It's because he keeps staring at me. No, we're getting distracted. We're getting really distracted. He spoke without hesitation, and because I felt uneasy in this outfit, Ash's confidence was that much more attractive to me. I told you we're getting majorly distracted. You must like writing.
I suppose. I am still a writer in training, though. By the way, your soup is getting cold. You sure you don't want to finish it?
Huh? Oh! I was listening to him so intently that I had forgotten to eat. The soup was already cold.
Should I ask them to heat it up for you again?
No, it's alright. She's like me. I'm like, I don't want to ask for more assistance. It's my own fault that it got cold. I nervously put my lips to the cup. It was embarrassing to admit I was completely taken in by what he was saying.
No need to rush. I'm just an ornament after all.
Very talkative one. He repeated what he said earlier and tapped the cup with his finger. I was like, if you have like the magic ability to make my soup hot again, I'm going to lose my mind. All of his actions appear so elegant. I envy his calm and composed attitude to everything. I took a deep breath to calm myself before gulping down the remainder of the soup. For some reason, it felt warmer than earlier. Who? What are you? Let me take you to the church.
That's all right. I was the one who suddenly approached you, so you can leave me be.
But if you're not from here, you wouldn't know where the church is. At least let me tell you how to get there.
If you insist, I will oblige.
Ash gave a big smile while holding my hand. I wondered why he did that, but quickly realized he was trying to help me up from my seat. Ah. Oh, thank you.
Not at all. It's only proper. But I have a bit of a problem now.
He gave an obviously fake troubled look while still holding my hand.
My hand won't let go. I guess that means I still want to talk with you.
I guess that means this is not actually a Lugus episode. I'm accidentally spending time with Ash and getting distracted, and I'm in trouble. I'm really distracted. Oh really?
Yes. I did want to continue our conversation, but we'll save it for another time. I'll be here at this tavern often, so I'd appreciate it if you visited again soon.
Uh-huh. I didn't know how to respond, so I could only give a curt response. He didn't appear to mind.
If you promise to come see me, my hand will be more willing to part ways.
I don't know how I feel about that, though, sir. After shaking our hands lightly, Ash finally let go. I'm not used to this. Feeling slightly embarrassed, I exited the tavern with Ash. We headed up the street and made a right at the following corner.
By the way, do you like fruit?
Yes, probably as much as most people.
That's good to hear.
I don't know what noise just came out of my mouth, but I've been absolutely stolen away is what has happened to me. Lugus, I'm sorry. I thought we were doing your episode. I didn't realize that the emblem is also associated with Hugh, so now I gotta be careful going forward. I do know there's a part 2 to Stranger, so I'm gonna assume, with like a 99.99% assumption, that that's probably continuation with Ash, so I probably won't do that. And we'll try to figure out what else in this list is actually for Lugus. I'll get there. I don't know why I'm so embarrassed. I just feel like I'm supposed to be focused on Lugus, and I'm just like over here with this guy, and he's shoving a tiny berry in my mouth. I just don't know how to feel about any of this. Okay. We're just gonna finish this, and then we'll get back on track. It's fine. It's a slight detour. We're getting like a brief hint because Hugh was not patient enough. And we'll get back to Lugus, and then Hugh's gotta wait in his timeout corner, gosh darn it, till next time. Okay, it's fine. In the next instant, a tiny fruit entered my mouth.
This is thanks for listening to my stories.
While still confused, I bit... Why would you bite... Like, if someone shoved a tiny berry in my mouth, I'd probably spit it out. I bit into it and tasted something sweet and sour. It's tasty.
That's good to hear. Thank you, little lady.
Where did you find this fruit? I haven't had any in a long time. After swallowing, I looked up. Huh? Ash was gone. I looked down the alleyways, but he was nowhere to be found. He sure was quick. What a strange person. The fruit's light, tart taste was quite pleasing and didn't leave any bad aftertaste. Even dried fruit is expensive and rare. I wonder where he got it. He was so mysterious from beginning to end, but I didn't dislike him. His unpredictability was just like Ash and Hawk's, but Ash was more of a gentleman about it. Are we not going to question how they're both like Ash, though? I wasn't sure where he was, but I hoped he would arrive at the church safely. I said a little prayer for him and headed back.